Producing music on a budget. What do you actually need to get started with producing music? I'm Charles Klain. I'm a singer-songwriter and producer, and on this channel I talk about mostly Logic Pro X music educational videos, but also music marketing and music production as well. And getting started with music production can be a daunting task if you don't know where to start to buy all your equipment, right? And what do you actually need? So I'm going to break this video down into 3 different levels, we can say. And each level has their own equipment that you might get started with. And it depends what level you're in or what level you're looking for to get at to go and buy some equipment. So we'll start with level 1, which is bare bones, how to get started with music production. What do you actually need? Then we'll get on to level 2, which is kind of like intermediate / beginner. What can make you sound better without getting too expensive, right? And then level 3, which is, okay, we're more into intermediate advanced. What are some really things, almost even pro, that we can buy that maybe are a little more expensive and maybe a bit better quality, but will really raise the overall quality of your sound, but it's going to cost you more. So let's break it down into these 3 levels and get started with music production and what do you actually need. Level 1, bare bones. I'm going to be going back and forth with some screen shares to show you some type of equipment that you can actually use. So bare bones, 100%, we need these things to produce and record music. Number 1 is a computer. Unfortunately, the days are over really, unless you want to do complete analog recording. This video isn't for you. You will need a computer to produce music. Ideally, your computer has enough storage space, but the more important thing is memory and processing speed. So ideally you have 8 gigabytes, an 8 gig processor. The new MacBook Airs off the rack, I believe, come with 8 gigs of memory. Once you have your computer, you need a DAW. This is a digital audio workstation. This is just a program that helps you record and produce music. I use Logic Pro X, and you can use something like Ableton or Pro Tools or FL Studio. It doesn't matter, but you will need a DAW. The next thing we're going to want is a pair of headphones. Ideally, the headphones are over-ear headphones like the one I'm wearing. You can get away with Apple AirPods or the ones, any in-ear AirPods, but ideally you're going to have over-ear headphones. And if you can, try to get a pair of monitor headphones. These are the studio recording headphones that don't play with the signal at all. For example, I'm using Bose headphones right now, and Bose shapes the sound a little bit, so it enhances the sound, and I'm not getting the actual raw audio recording that comes from your DAW. So you want a pair of headphones. Ideally, they would be monitor headphones as well. Here's an example of studio monitor headphones. I just searched studio monitor headphones. The Audio Technica at 129 euros, or US dollars, pretty much the same amount. The Audio Technica, these are 89 bucks. So if you open up this Tom, you can get this anywhere at any music store or maybe even on Amazon, I'm not sure. So even down here, 48 euros. So they're not that expensive, but you're much better off using these types of headphones instead of the Apple AirPods, because at this level, the bare bones first level 1 of what you need for music production, we're not including speakers at all. It's just headphones. The last thing you need for level 1 bare bones music production is a USB microphone. This is a microphone you can plug in directly to your computer. You don't need any other equipment, and you can start recording your voice. You can start recording guitars, sounds, whatever. It doesn't matter. USB microphones, Audio Technica, I believe, has a USB microphone as well that is fairly cheap. So this one's 129, and Rode has the most big microphone companies will also provide a USB microphone option. But at this level, level 1 bare bones, all in all, we're looking at a cost. If we just take out the computer, because that's going to inflate our cost, if we just look at our studio monitor headphones and our USB microphone, we'll say maybe 120 bucks, maybe something less. I mean, you could get used things and probably spend no more than 50 bucks. It really is what you end up purchasing. That's it for level 1 bare bones. Why is it so slim, you're asking? Well, because we don't need any musical instruments unless you have them already, but we can do everything inside our DAW with our keyboard as a controller to play things, or we can draw notes in our DAW to play things as well. We don't need a MIDI controller yet. We don't need an audio interface. We don't need speakers yet. These are all great things to have, but level 1 bare bones we don't need those. So let's move on to level 2, which is like you're serious about getting into music production, but you're still a beginner. What kind of things can you purchase to make your sound better? A computer and headphones, that's part of level 2 as well. You do need this. Level 3 would be speakers, so studio monitor speakers, not like a Bose Bluetooth speaker or anything. I want a left and right speaker that you can put beside your computer. They don't have to be expensive, but you do want that stereo image, a left and right speaker. You can spend $100 if you want. You can even buy some used speakers for even less, and you can go up to be spending thousands of dollars. But if you're at that level 2 level, I would look at spending between $100 and $300 if you want to go that high. Quick Google search. Obviously, there are some big ones. The KRKs at €300 are really, really nice speakers, but at this level, we more look into doing something like the Mackie, or there's also an Alesis brand that is quite cheap as well. And I'd also look at your kind of Craigslist used classified section in your city, because there's likely a pair of studio monitors for sale, and it doesn't really matter if they're used as long as like the speakers actually work and like the tweeter hasn't broken and you can actually get you can hear the sound. The fourth thing we want in level 2 is an audio interface. This is something where we can plug in our guitars and microphones into this interface that goes directly into our computer, so we can convert that audio signal into a digital sound file. Really, Scarlett Solo is about $100, and then you can go up to get the Scarlett like 2 channel, which is about $140. You can also get the Apollo brand, the Apogee brand, which is a really good quality brand as well. Most audio interface brands will have a 1 channel, which is like a cheaper one because it only has 1 channel, and then you can go up in price based on how many channels they have, but also the quality of the sound card and the quality of the preamp, and if there is even a preamp in the audio interface. So at this level 2, we're really just looking for something like the Scarlett Solo or the Scarlett 2 channel one, maybe the Apogee one, because if we get into like the Apollo brand, or for example the Apollo Twin, we're getting into like $1,000 now for an audio interface, and that's more like level 3. Fifth thing you want at level 2 is a MIDI controller. So this is kind of like, it looks like a keyboard in a way, but it really is just a big piece of plastic that acts as a controller for virtual sounds inside of your DAW or any other virtual instruments that you buy. For example, right here in front of me, I'm using the Nectar SE49. It's just a simple 49 key controller that I use to play sounds right on my desk. And then you can have multiple controllers around the room if you'd like, but it is good to have a MIDI controller so you can at least have the tactile feel while you're playing your virtual instruments, because it's a lot easier sometimes, especially if you know how to play the piano. It's much easier to play things quickly of ideas that you have versus drawing the notes in right within your DAW. A couple brands, the Akai and the Arturia, are 2 brands that have cheaper MIDI controllers, and this Nectar's SE49 I believe was like $80 or something. So at this level, we're going to want to spend around maybe less than $100 for a MIDI controller. So the 6th thing we want in this level 2 music production, what do you need? We want another microphone. If you're really serious about music production, you do know that you will be in there for the long time. Your first microphone perhaps you might want to go a little bit extra than you just instead of buying a cheap one, right? Because at level 2, we're going to want to have a more decent microphone, because we're going to want to be recording vocals, or maybe you're recording like live acoustic guitar. But especially for vocals, you're going to want to have a more like, not just like a microphone for $50. You'll want to spend maybe $150 up to $300 for a good quality vocal microphone. And then obviously level 3, we can be spending much more. But this microphone here, which is the Rode NT1A condenser microphone, was about $150, I think, and it's a good quality condenser microphone that can capture anything, vocals, acoustic guitar, with good quality. Another one is the Shure SM7B, and I'll show you a picture of that. You've probably seen it in a lot of podcasts. Post Malone recorded a lot of his signals on this dynamic range microphone. Good quality microphone. Yeah, we're now looking at $400 though, right? But this is an all-around really solid quality microphone that you can use for making videos. You can record vocals, you can record guitar, you can record anything. It's really, really good quality all around. Every major studio, a lot of music producers will have this microphone in their studios. That's really what you need to make really, really good quality sounding music. And then level 3 beyond that is like extra stuff really that will get you that last 20%, probably even 10% of quality that you need, these really, really solid recordings. But you can squeeze level 2 out and get enough quality that no average person will probably even hear the difference. So with the added features that we talked about in level 2, we're looking at adding another cost on top of level 1. So level 1 was about $150. We're looking at adding probably $250 to that, so a total of $350-400, obviously depending on a variety of things you buy. For level 3 producing music, this is now like you've been doing it for a few years, you're doing this long term, maybe it's your life calling, you're going to do it for many, many more years, you've got really good at it. By this point, you probably even know what you need, but for context of people who are watching the video still at this point, you're going to want to have more microphones. You still have audio interfaces, a computer, studio monitors, headphones, but you're getting higher quality in each of these areas, as well as you're collecting hardware and outboard gear like compressors and even musical instruments and actual real synths and guitars and pianos, and not to mention you're paying for a lot of VSTs, which are virtual instruments, and you're paying for plugins. So it's getting bulky. The cost is really, really getting into the tens of thousands of dollars now. I'll leave a couple links to some of the products I mentioned in the description so you can check those out, and let me know if you have any questions about if you're deciding on anything on the equipment. Let me know in a comment. Be happy to help, and please subscribe. See you around for the next music production, music marketing, or maybe even music equipment video.